complain of this. I thought that in her question to the Foreign Secretary, she snapped at him a bit at the end, so I offered.
Nicholas Soames, a name that carries historical weight and political gravitas, has recently taken center stage by breaking his long-held silence on King Charles. The event unfolded in a manner that startled political observers and those attuned to the undercurrents of Britain's evolving institutional landscape. His remarks, steeped in decades of experience and political acumen, have been received as a potent denunciation that carries implications for the future of the monarchy and its place within British society. His words, delivered with a tone that was both measured and unyielding, have set off discussions among political elites, traditionalists, and reform advocates alike, prompting an examination of both the current state and the historical trajectory of the royal institution. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. Born into a legacy that is interwoven with the history of the Conservative Party and the British establishment, Nicholas Soames has long been a figure of unwavering opinion and principled conservatism. His lineage, connected to some of the most influential figures of 20th century Britain, has imbued him with a sense of responsibility toward the country's traditions and values. Over the years, he has navigated the corridors of power with a careful balance of loyalty to his party's ideals and a critical eye on evolving political realities. His reputation as a steadfast guardian of conservative principles has rendered his recent outburst particularly significant. When someone with such a storied background takes a public stance on the conduct of a reigning monarch, it is not merely a personal expression, but an echo of long-held debates about the nature of leadership, the weight of tradition, and the evolving role of symbolic institutions in modern society. The figure at the heart of this controversy, King Charles, represents a new chapter in the monarchy's long and storied history. Ascending to the throne at a time of rapid social change, his reign has been anticipated with a mixture of hope and apprehension. Throughout his life, King Charles has been associated with a series of initiatives aimed at modernizing certain aspects of royal tradition, even as he remained deeply rooted in the customs and rituals that define the British monarchy. Yet his approach to addressing contemporary issues and his handling of long-standing controversies have elicited divided opinions from various quarters of society. As he navigates the challenges of leading an institution that is as much a symbol of continuity as it is a reflection of current public sentiment, his every move is scrutinized by those who remain fiercely protective of both the monarchy's legacy and the changing cultural landscape. The event itself, marked by Soames's decision to finally speak out, took place during a period when the nation was already grappling with a mix of reverence and skepticism toward its most enduring institutions. Observers noted that his comments were not made in isolation, but rather emerged from an environment in which political discourse was charged with nostalgia for a bygone era, even as it attempted to chart a course for a future that diverges sharply from the past. Soames's intervention was devoid of the customary measured neutrality that often characterizes discussions about the monarchy. Instead, his tone bore the unmistakable mark of disapproval and disillusionment. His criticism was not couched in subtle hints, but conveyed an unequivocal sentiment that the actions and attitudes of King Charles were misaligned with the foundational principles of the institution he represents. At the core of Soames's remarks is a deep-seated concern regarding the direction in which the monarchy is headed under King Charles's leadership. His stance appears to be motivated by an unyielding commitment to the values that have traditionally underpinned British governance and national identity. In his view, the monarchy, which has long been seen as a bastion of stability and continuity, now risks losing its ability to resonate with the public if it deviates too far from the time-honored customs that have defined its role. The language used in his statement was laden with an urgency that suggested not only disappointment, but also a call to introspection within the corridors of power. The critique extends beyond personal preferences, tapping into broader debates about whether a modernized approach can coexist with the deeply entrenched traditions that many Britons hold dear. This public pronouncement by Soames has far-reaching implications that extend well beyond the immediate sphere of political commentary. His intervention has opened up a space for renewed scrutiny of the monarchy as an institution that has long been revered, yet increasingly finds itself at the crossroads of tradition and modernity. By articulating his concerns so plainly, he has invited a re-examination of what the monarchy should represent in the 21st century. The discussion now moves beyond a mere question of individual personalities to a broader dialogue about national identity, institutional legitimacy, and the relationship between the state and its ceremonial symbols. The manner in which Soames has framed his critique underscores the tension between an unwavering adherence to historical continuity and the necessity of evolving with the times. His perspective serves as a reminder that the monarchy, though steeped in history, is not immune to the pressures of modern democratic expectations. As political observers analyze the substance of Soames's remarks, it becomes clear that his criticisms are embedded within a larger narrative of ideological conflict. His statements evoke memories of past eras when public debates about the monarchy were characterized by a similar fervor, albeit under different circumstances. The current episode is reminiscent of earlier periods when the balance between tradition and progress was hotly contested. The legacy of previous generations, which continues to influence contemporary political discourse, is palpable in the rhetoric that Soames has employed. His articulation of concerns related to the conduct of King Charles is not an isolated critique, but rather a continuation of a long-standing conversation about how best to preserve the symbolic sanctity of the monarchy while allowing for necessary reforms that reflect current realities. The implications of this public declaration are multifaceted and touch upon several dimensions of British political life. One significant aspect is the potential impact on the relationship between the monarchy and the governing bodies that have historically supported it. Soames's comments have the effect of casting a critical light on the interplay between political power and royal authority. His intervention raises questions about the extent to which the monarchy should be shielded from the very political debates that shape national policy. It also prompts a re-examination of the roles and responsibilities that come with holding a position of symbolic power in a modern democracy. By questioning the alignment of the monarch's actions with the traditional expectations of the institution, his remarks suggest that there may be a need for a more dynamic dialogue between the branches of power that have coexisted for centuries. In this context, the event can be seen as a manifestation of the broader cultural and ideological shifts that are occurring within British society. The clash between a desire to uphold established customs and the call for progressive change is not unique to the realm of monarchy, but is emblematic of wider societal debates. There is a palpable tension between those who view the monarchy as an essential element of national identity and those who advocate for a more streamlined and contemporary approach to governance. Soames's critique thus serves as a catalyst for a deeper inquiry into the role of ceremonial institutions in a world that is rapidly changing. The reaction to his remarks underscores the fact that any perceived deviation from tradition by a figure of such historical significance can reverberate across multiple layers of public and political life. The nature of Soames's criticism also invites an exploration of the historical context in which the monarchy has operated. For centuries, the institution has weathered the storms of revolution, reform, and social upheaval. Its endurance is often attributed to its ability to adapt while preserving a core set of values that resonate with the collective memory of the nation. However, this very adaptability is now being questioned by those who believe that too much change could undermine the essence of what the monarchy represents. Soames's intervention is emblematic of a conservative impulse to safeguard the continuity of tradition, emphasizing the importance of historical precedent and the symbolic resonance that has defined the institution for generations. His comments challenge the notion that modernization should come at the expense of the cultural heritage that has, for so long, been a defining feature of the British establishment. The event also serves to highlight the evolving dynamics within the Conservative Party itself. As one of its most outspoken members, Soames's perspective is informed by a lifetime of engagement with the party's ideological foundations. His stance on the matter reflects a broader internal debate about the direction the party should take in a political landscape that is increasingly characterized by rapid change and shifting public expectations. The party, which has traditionally positioned itself as the guardian of national values and the status quo, now finds itself at a crossroads. The critique of King Charles, delivered by a figure who is both emblematic of the party's legacy and a participant in its current debates, signals a moment of introspection that could have profound implications for the future positioning of the party. The way in which these internal tensions are navigated may well influence how the party addresses not only issues related to the monarchy, but also broader questions of national identity and institutional legitimacy. The resonance of Soames's remarks is further amplified by the cultural symbolism associated with the monarchy. The British crown has long been a potent emblem of unity, continuity, and national pride. Yet it also carries with it the weight of centuries of tradition that can sometimes appear out of step with modern democratic values. The tension inherent in maintaining a symbolic institution while striving to remain relevant in contemporary society is at the heart of the controversy. Soames's comments, which question whether the current approach of King Charles aligns with the enduring principles of the institution, tap into deep-seated anxieties about cultural identity. They suggest that the monarchy, in its current form, may be struggling to reconcile its storied past with the demands of a modern public that values transparency, accountability, and relevance. This conflict between the immutable symbols of the past and the evolving values of the present is one that has long defined debates about national identity in Britain. The implications of this episode extend into the realm of public discourse, where the manner in which institutions are critiqued often reflects larger societal trends. The frank nature of Soames's remarks has introduced a new layer of complexity to the debate over the future of the monarchy. His willingness to voice his discontent in a public forum represents a significant departure from the more restrained and ceremonial approaches that have traditionally characterized discussions about the royal family. The critical tone of his intervention signals a shift in the political culture, one that increasingly favors open debate over the reverence and deference that once defined interactions with established institutions. This evolving dynamic is reflective of broader global trends, where long-standing institutions are being re-examined in light of contemporary values and expectations. The discussion that has emerged in the wake of his comments highlights a growing appetite for transparency and accountability in even the most hallowed of institutions. There is also a deeply personal dimension to the unfolding narrative that is worth considering. Soames, whose political career spans decades, has witnessed firsthand the evolution of Britain's political and cultural landscape. His perspective is informed not only by a deep sense of duty to his country, but also by a personal conviction that the symbols of the past must be preserved with integrity. The intensity of his disapproval is thus not merely a reaction to the current state of affairs, but is rooted in a lifetime of observations regarding the gradual transformation of the institutions that have long defined British life. His remarks reflect a belief that there is an intrinsic value in maintaining a connection to the past, a sentiment that resonates with many who view tradition as an anchor in an increasingly uncertain world. The emotional and intellectual weight of his criticism speaks to a broader struggle between the forces of change and the desire to uphold the time-tested principles that have historically underpinned the nation's identity. The confrontation between traditional expectations and the imperatives of modernization is brought into sharp focus by this event. In questioning the approach of King Charles, Soames is effectively challenging the notion that established institutions can simply evolve without a rigorous reappraisal of their foundational values. His critique is a call for a return to a more principled adherence to the customs and protocols that have defined the monarchy for centuries. This perspective, while rooted in a reverence for history, also recognizes that the process of evolution must be carefully managed to avoid diluting the symbolic power of the institution. The tension between preserving tradition and embracing change is a perennial theme in political discourse, and the current episode serves as a vivid illustration of how this dynamic continues to play out in contemporary Britain. Beyond the immediate political and cultural ramifications, the episode also offers insights into the broader role of public figures in shaping national debates. Soames' decision to speak out on such a sensitive subject underscores the power that individuals can wield in influencing the course of public opinion. His remarks have not only drawn attention to specific concerns regarding the monarchy, but have also ignited discussions about the responsibilities of those who occupy positions of authority. The manner in which his words have resonated across different segments of society speaks to the enduring relevance of public debate in a democracy that values both continuity and progress. By stepping into the fray and articulating his perspective with clarity and conviction, he has reminded citizens and policymakers alike of the importance of engaging with the past as a means of navigating the future. The episode is emblematic of the challenges that arise when long-standing institutions are confronted with the demands of a modern era. It brings to the fore questions about how best to balance reverence for tradition with the need to adapt to changing social and political realities. The criticisms leveled by Soames compel those involved in the stewardship of the monarchy to reflect on the institution's core purpose and the values that it must continue to embody. His intervention acts as a mirror, reflecting not only the concerns of a seasoned political veteran, but also the broader anxieties of a society that is in the midst of profound transformation. The debate that ensues is likely to be both complex and multifaceted, as it touches on issues of identity, governance, and the very nature of leadership in a time of rapid change. In examining the broader implications of this public declaration, it becomes clear that the event has catalyzed a reconsideration of the symbolic and practical roles of the monarchy. Soames's commentary invites policymakers, scholars, and citizens to engage in a thoughtful reassessment of how the institution fits within the framework of modern democracy. His critical perspective challenges those who have long taken for granted the continuity of royal traditions to consider whether the current trajectory is sustainable in a society that increasingly values openness, accountability, and relevance. The dialogue that has emerged in the wake of his remarks is not merely about the conduct of a single individual, but is indicative of a larger ongoing struggle to define the relationship between the past and the future. The event stands as a moment of reckoning, urging all stakeholders to reflect on the enduring legacy of the monarchy while grappling with the realities of contemporary governance. A closer look at the language and tone employed by Soames reveals an intensity that is both reflective and forward-looking. His articulation of disapproval is delivered with a sense of urgency that transcends mere political rhetoric. There is a palpable conviction in his words that speaks to the depth of his commitment to the ideals that have long defined British political life. The passionate manner in which he has expressed his concerns serves as a reminder that even in institutions as venerable as the monarchy, there exists a need for continual vigilance and critique. His intervention is not simply an expression of dissent, but a clarion call for a re-engagement with the fundamental principles that have historically underpinned the nation's identity. This blend of personal conviction and historical perspective creates a narrative that is as compelling as it is consequential, prompting a re-examination of both the legacy and the future of the royal institution. The impact of this episode is magnified by the fact that it represents a departure from the norm. Traditionally, discussions about the monarchy have been characterized by a degree of circumspection and deference, a reflection of the deep-seated respect that the institution commands. The departure from this tradition in the form of a forthright and unambiguous critique signals a transformation in the way that public discourse is conducted. It suggests that the boundaries between private opinion and public commentary are becoming increasingly blurred, and that the time-honored rituals of silence and reverence are giving way to a more open and contentious dialogue. This evolution in public discourse is indicative of broader shifts in societal values, where the demand for transparency and accountability often challenges the sanctity of established traditions. The candid nature of Soames's remarks, therefore, is not only a reflection of his personal convictions, but also a symptom of a larger cultural transformation. The significance of the event is further underscored by the historical context in which it occurs. Over the centuries, the monarchy has weathered myriad challenges, from political revolutions to social revolutions, each time emerging as a symbol of resilience and continuity. Yet the institution has also been a lightning rod for controversy and debate, with each generation questioning the relevance and legitimacy of its traditions. The current moment, marked by Soames's public criticism, is another chapter in this long history of scrutiny and self-reflection. It reinforces the notion that even the most time-honored institutions are not beyond the reach of critical evaluation, particularly when their actions appear to diverge from the values that have sustained them over time. His remarks serve as a stark reminder that the preservation of tradition requires constant vigilance, and that any perceived departure from established norms can prompt a fierce and unrelenting response from those who hold the legacy of the past in high esteem. The event has also generated significant discussion about the role of personal opinion in shaping public policy and institutional direction. Soames's decision to voice his dissatisfaction publicly highlights the complex interplay between individual expression and collective identity. His intervention underscores the fact that the opinions of influential figures, particularly those with deep roots in the political establishment, can have far-reaching consequences for public debate and institutional reform. The controversy that has arisen in its wake is a testament to the power of personal conviction to mobilize collective sentiment and to influence the trajectory of national discourse. In voicing his concerns so forcefully, he has not only cast a critical eye on the current state of the monarchy, but has also challenged the broader assumptions about continuity, legitimacy, and the very nature of leadership in modern Britain. Every word of his commentary has added a new dimension to the debate, inviting a re-examination of established norms and the role of historical legacy in contemporary governance. The underlying message of his critique is one of caution, a warning that the monarchy must remain true to its foundational principles if it is to retain its relevance and credibility in a rapidly changing world. His stance, rooted in a deep understanding of both history and politics, emphasizes that the strength of an institution lies not in its ability to simply adapt, but in its capacity to honor its traditions while thoughtfully integrating necessary reforms. The discourse that has been ignited by his intervention is likely to resonate for years to come, serving as a focal point for ongoing debates about the future of the monarchy and the values that define British national identity. The critical tone adopted by Soames in addressing the conduct of King Charles is emblematic of a broader sentiment that questions the balance between modernity and tradition. His perspective challenges those who advocate for unbridled modernization at the expense of historical continuity, arguing instead that any evolution of the monarchy must be carefully calibrated to preserve its enduring legacy. The insistence on upholding established customs and protocols is reflective of a deep-seated belief in the intrinsic value of tradition, a belief that has, for generations, served as a cornerstone of British political culture. The resonance of this viewpoint is apparent in the widespread discussions that have emerged as it touches upon fundamental questions about the role of national symbols in shaping collective memory and guiding societal values. The reverberations of this public pronouncement extend far beyond the immediate circles of political debate, touching on questions of identity, legitimacy, and the role of public institutions in a democratic society. The stark language used to describe the current state of affairs calls for a renewed commitment to the ideals that have long sustained Britain, emphasizing that the symbolic weight of the monarchy is best preserved through an unwavering dedication to its founding principles. The event has prompted a critical evaluation of what it means to lead a nation in an era defined by rapid social change and increasing calls for accountability. In articulating his concerns with clarity and intensity, Soames has not only contributed to a deeper understanding of the challenges facing the monarchy, but has also underscored the importance of engaging with the past as a means of shaping the future. The impact of the event is multidimensional, reflecting layers of historical context, personal conviction, and broader ideological debates. The public nature of the criticism reinforces the idea that long-standing institutions, no matter how revered, must continually earn the trust of the people they serve. It is an illustration of the dynamic tension between preserving cherished traditions and adapting to the evolving expectations of a modern populace. The remarks made by Soames act as a catalyst, forcing both supporters and critics of the monarchy to re-examine the values that define their national identity. As debates intensify, the event is likely to fuel a sustained dialogue about the role of ceremonial institutions in a society that is increasingly defined by rapid technological change, shifting demographics, and evolving cultural norms. The voice of Nicholas Soames, resonating with historical significance and personal integrity, has thus carved out a significant chapter in the narrative of modern British politics. His decision to break his long silence with such a pointed critique has not only stirred controversy, but has also ignited a broader conversation about the responsibilities of those who hold positions of symbolic power. The words he has shared, imbued with both historical insight and contemporary urgency, serve as a stark reminder that the institutions that have defined a nation for centuries must remain true to the principles that have sustained them. His remarks offer a lens through which to view the current state of the monarchy, a state that is now being interrogated not only for its adherence to tradition, but also for its ability to adapt to the ever-changing demands of modern society. In the unfolding narrative, the emphasis is on the weight of history and the pressures of modernity that converge in the realm of public institutions. The critique, delivered by a figure with deep roots in the British political tradition, carries an implicit challenge to the very notion of progress as it is measured against the backdrop of time-honored customs. It is a challenge that questions whether the evolution of the monarchy can be achieved without compromising the foundational elements that have long made it a symbol of national unity and continuity. The words spoken by Soames reverberate with a sense of urgency and conviction that demands attention, inviting a thoughtful and critical reassessment of an institution that remains as pivotal as ever in the cultural and political life of Britain. The event, marked by the bold intervention of Nicholas Soames, stands as a powerful testament to the enduring complexity of the relationship between the individual, the institution, and the nation. It is a moment that encapsulates the struggle to balance reverence for historical legacy with the demands of modern governance, offering a profound commentary on the state of public discourse in an age where tradition is both venerated and contested. The implications of his words ripple through the corridors of political power, cultural institutions, and the collective consciousness of a nation that is still defining its future while remaining inextricably linked to its illustrious past. The intensity of the criticism, the depth of the historical context, and the clarity of the vision for what the monarchy ought to embody coalesce in this significant moment. The event is not merely a commentary on an individual's conduct, but a sweeping reflection on the state of an institution that has long been a cornerstone of national identity. It invites a rethinking of the relationship between the symbols of the past and the realities of the present, urging all who care about the future of the nation to consider whether the legacy of the monarchy can be sustained in a manner that honors its history while embracing the necessities of modern life. The public expression of dissent, articulated with unwavering conviction, will undoubtedly resonate through the annals of political debate as a pivotal moment in the ongoing evolution of British national identity. Every facet of the discourse generated by this episode is steeped in historical significance, personal conviction, and a vision for the future that challenges conventional wisdom. The remarks of Nicholas Soames represent a clarion call to re-examine the foundational values of an institution that has not only survived centuries of change, but has also played a central role in shaping the very essence of national identity. The event, charged with both controversy and historical resonance, is a testament to the power of individual expression in influencing the course of public debate and the evolution of long-standing institutions. It is a moment that will be remembered as a bold assertion of the principles that have long underpinned British society, and as an invitation to engage in a more open and critical dialogue about the future of the monarchy. In this charged atmosphere of reflection and debate, the comments serve to underline the inextricable link between personal conviction and institutional accountability. They compel those who have long defended the sanctity of tradition to consider whether the current trajectory of the monarchy truly aligns with the enduring principles that have defined it for generations. The narrative that has emerged from this episode is a multifaceted exploration of what it means to honor the past while preparing for an uncertain future. A narrative that is likely to influence political thought and cultural attitudes for years to come. The remarks of Nicholas Soames, delivered with a blend of historical insight and modern urgency, have opened up a space for dialogue that challenges the conventional boundaries between respect for tradition and the need for reform. The event stands as a significant milestone in a long and ongoing conversation about the future of national symbols and the balance between heritage and progress. It serves as a reminder that every institution, no matter how venerable, must continuously engage with the realities of the present if it is to remain relevant and respected. The expression of dissatisfaction by a figure as steeped in the traditions of the establishment as Nicholas Soames is a moment of reckoning, a moment that forces all who are invested in the legacy of the monarchy to confront the challenges of modernity head-on. The intensity and clarity of his critique ensure that the conversation will persist, inviting a sustained and thoughtful engagement with the questions that lie at the heart of national identity, institutional legitimacy, and the interplay between the past and the future. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us. What are your thoughts on Nicholas Soames' comments about King Charles? Do you expect controversy? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.